If you've got money to take care of business and pay everybody back in the next, 3 or 4 years, okay, do that. But most of the clients that come talk with me, there's no way they're paying this debt off the next 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And there's no way they're buying a house with that kind of debt hanging over their head either. So you need to face reality. You're going to get a house, if that's the ultimate goal, much sooner if you can take care of business, wipe out the debt, and move on. If you screw around and your car gets repossessed and you can't get to work and you get fired, how soon are you going to buy a house? Let me help you. Not very soon. Don't let the disaster pile up. It's just not worth it.
Welcome to the Bankruptcy Podcast, a podcast about untangling the complex world of bankruptcy in Georgia. Each week, we deliver the best insights and practical advice on how to navigate the legal waters of bankruptcy with expert guidance and real-life stories. Now here's your host, Jeff Kelly.
Hello, this is Jeff Kelly, and in this video, I want to talk about how do you know when it's time to file a Chapter 13 or Chapter 7? And the answer is the same answer as it is to all legal questions. It depends. So, I want to talk about how, there are a lot of attorneys out there that want to pressure you, file now, file today. I hate doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pressure anybody to file when they haven't had time to think about it. I have written a book on Chapter 13 and Chapter 7. I encourage all of my potential clients, download the book, www.kellycanhelp.com/welcome. Educate yourself. Give us a call. Meet with us. Let's go over your options. It's a good idea to do that kind of stuff way ahead of time. Now, a lot of clients freak out when they get served a lawsuit. They're like, oh my gosh, I need a case number today. I can't afford to be garnished. I can't afford to have my checking account cleaned out. All of this stuff can happen eventually, but you've got 30 days to respond to the lawsuit. So it's not like you have to do it tomorrow. Car repossession, when you start getting more than 2 months, 2 months behind on your car, you might need to be one of those that need to rush and hurry up and file, because otherwise your car might get repossessed. What is your life going to look like when you can't get to work and because your creditors repossess your car? Don't wait on that one. That one you probably do need to rush pretty quickly. I want to talk about foreclosures. So in the state of Georgia, you have to advertise a house for 4 consecutive weeks before the foreclosure date before you can foreclose. So, in most cases, you should know way in advance. What you don't want to do is don't let a mortgage company or anybody string you along saying, I'm going to get you a loan modification. I'm going to buy your house, blah, 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 whatever it is. Look, when the foreclosure date's getting close, and I consider 3 weeks to be close. I mean, we're talking about your house. Real estate values in the year 2023 are higher than they have ever been. I've never seen so many people have so much equity in real estate. It's unbelievable. You can't afford to risk that and screw around and let your house get foreclosed. Move quickly. Can you file a Chapter 13, right before the foreclosure and stop it? Yeah, you can, but not with me. Our deadline is like the Friday before the foreclosure date. After that, I don't want to talk to you because it gives me heartburn and cardiovascular reasons. I don't want to mess with that. I want you to get in soon. Let's take care of business. Let's see, what's possible, what's not. But don't wait until the last second. When you see your credit card bills just climb every month, again, you do have time, but you don't want to take too long. I see a lot of clients who will make the mistake of just dragging it out. And honestly, the number one reason they drag it out is because of pride. And hey, I get it. We're all human. This is a judgment-free zone. Grace is a core value of my law firm. I don't want to judge anybody or make anybody feel bad. But at the same time, when you're seeing that balance grow, you know, what is the point of delaying the inevitable? Take care of business, move on, get a new start. You know, the other thing that holds people back is they're really worried about, I hear this all the time right now. If I file, I'm never going to be able to buy a house. No, that's not true. You know, if you've got money to take care of business and pay everybody back in the next, 3 or 4 years, okay, do that. But most of the clients that come talk with me, there's no way they're paying this debt off the next 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And there's no way they're buying a house with that kind of debt hanging over their head either. So you need to face reality. You're going to get a house, if that's the ultimate goal, much sooner if you can take care of business, wipe out the debt, and move on. If you screw around and your car gets repossessed and you can't get to work and you get fired, how soon are you going to buy a house? Let me help you. Not very soon. Don't let the disaster pile up. It's just not worth it. So, if you're getting sued and you've just recently been served, you have time. If you've screwed around and waited and now they have a judgment, now they're actively garnishing your paycheck, you can still file. It's not too late.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. If you're intrigued by the world of bankruptcy and want a comprehensive guide to help you get out of debt, head on over to kellycanhelp.com/welcome and subscribe to our email list to have a guide to bankruptcy in Georgia, helping people get out of debt delivered right to your inbox. Now back to the show.
If you want answers to legal questions about your case and your circumstances, call us. Let's talk about it. But whatever you do, don't rely on some article you read on the internet and make a conclusion yourself. Don't do that. Don't rely on that know-it-all that you work with that doesn't have a bar license. That just, nothing irritates me more than that when I hear about people who don't have a bar license giving legal advice that is so wrong and costs people so much money. We had a guy earlier this year who somebody at his work said, "Don't worry about the second mortgage company. They'll never take your house." This guy had like $200,000 of equity and he messed around. Yeah, the second mortgage company can foreclose on you if they pay off the first mortgage. And in his case, they did. Bye-bye house, gone. So a couple quick pointers. If things are heading south, don't go get a title pawn. Don't do that. Title pawns cannot be paid in a Chapter 13 unless the title pawn company agrees to it, which most of them don't, which means you're left on the hook, which in reality, for most people who are in dire straits, you might as well just give the car company over to the title pawn company. They're going to get it anyway. So don't run out and get a title pawn. Don't mess with a title pawn. If you know any relatives or anybody who's thinking about getting a title pawn, strongly encourage them not to do so. There's only 17 states in the United States of America that even allow it. And of course, Georgia is one of them. The other day I had a client talk about how Georgia was known for, great protection for consumers. I'm like, man, what planet are you from? That's not true. Where did you hear that? That is BS. Right now in the state of Georgia, I can exempt $21,500 equity for a single person, $43,000 for a married couple. We are on the extreme low end in the United States of America. Most states are like well over 150,000. Florida is like unlimited housing exemption. I believe Texas is as well. And we are stuck on a pretty low level there. So I encourage you strongly, check out my website, www.kellycanhelp.com. I've also got a podcast website, kellybankruptcy.com. Tons of information there. Educate yourself. Don't let pride get in the way. Don't, if you think you need a case number tomorrow, call us. We'll tell you, is it really urgent? Like I said, if you were served yesterday, no, that's not urgent. Mortgage company says they're going to foreclose on your house. They can only do it the first Tuesday of every month. Probably not going to happen, tomorrow for most people. You should have time to wait and think about it, pray about it. Car repossessions, different story. You might need to move quick. One other last little side note before I forget. If you have a car that's paid for, man, you are a target. If you have a judgment creditor and they know what they're doing, they can actually go over to the Department of Motor Vehicles, take that judgment, and they could own your car. And once they are on the title, they're not on the title as a lien holder. If you don't owe anybody in the car, they own your title. Yikes. Be careful with that. If you've got any questions, give me a call, 770-881-8449. And I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Bankruptcy Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, kellybankruptcy.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you liked this show, you might want to check out our guide to bankruptcy in Georgia, helping people get out of debt. Available at kellycanhelp.com/welcome. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode.